Well, hello again everyone, and welcome back to video 3 of this year's Autumn Deep Clean and Declutter series. Today we are going to be, I am going to be focusing on the lounge, the living room, the front room, whatever you guys call it. I tend to refer to it as the lounge, and I'm going to be working on that today. Now, this room is starting to get a little bit cluttered up and a little bit more difficult and time consuming to clean. So it's one that I've really been looking forward to checking off my list. I'm only going to be working on the lounge itself today, the living room part of the room. As you can see in the background there, it's quite a long room, and we kind of include a dining area in the room. However, I'm not going to be working on that bit today. I'm just going to be doing the lounge area, so where the sofas are up to the front door. The first thing I wanted to get done today was actually to get rid of the coffee table. Now, this has been something I've been thinking about doing for a little while now, and I haven't been too sure about whether or not I wanted to actually get rid of it or to keep it. So those of you who have been here for a little while probably will remember me getting this coffee table. I've had it probably a year or so, something around that kind of timeline. And I got it because it was a lovely kind of circle shape in a room where there's lots and lots of squares, and it breaks it up and it makes it feel a little bit more homely and a little bit more cosy. However, a few months into having this coffee table, I noticed there were lots of scratches appearing on the glass. It was supposed to be a scratch resistant table. It was not. And so I got scratches on it, which meant I need to put like a frosting film on it so you wouldn't see the scratches. And then since then, although you haven't been able to see the scratches, it has become a regular kind of dumping ground for everybody. You can't really use it as a coffee table because there's loads of stuff dumped on it. So I decided to get 2 smaller nesting tables, as you can see here, right where I'm kneeling, and then we can pull them out when we need them, but we can put them away as well so that they are not just kind of sitting out and gathering clutter. So far, it's been a few days since I filmed this video, it's been great. We've not been cluttering up the living room just because it was easy to pop stuff on the coffee table. It's made a huge difference not having that coffee table. So that's going to be going, and we're going to be using those 2 little kind of pull-out tables instead. I've made a point of decorating the top table, the largest table, with some books and a little seasonal pumpkin to prevent people from dumping stuff on it, and so far so good. So that's step 1 in the declutter journey done. The next step is to go through these baskets in my bookcases. So I've got 2 baskets over here. One has kind of my embroidery and hobby bits in it, and this one that I'm currently dealing with has the kind of the Wii accessories and games that come alongside the Wii. Yes, we have a very old, very battered Nintendo Wii console because we still have fun with the games that we play on it, especially around Christmas time. We'll get together and play lots of games, a bit of Mario Kart, that kind of stuff, and we still enjoy it. So we have a basket with all the games, and I just went through that and decluttered some of the games we don't really play, some controller accessories that we don't use or we don't like, so that's made a huge difference to that basket as well, which means we can go out to like a pre-owned games store and buy more games to play and enjoy going forwards. Next on the baskets is this one, which is my hair basket. I say it's kind of like a joint shared hair basket. It's got everyone's kind of styling tools, hairsprays, bit of dry shampoo, setting sprays, things like that are all in there. So that needed definitely a clear out. And this last basket here, I tend to keep my candles, my wax melts, and all the kinds of things along those lines, tea lights, little votive candles, things like that. They all get kept in this basket so that I can pull them out nice and easily in the evenings. I do like to sit and have kind of candlelight, not only candlelight, but like that lovely soft candle light in the evening. I like to burn wax melts and I like to burn oils, so I have this basket where I keep all of those kinds of things. I also have a refill canister for my refillable lighter, that kind of thing that doesn't really have a place. I have a place for it, but again it was getting a little bit cluttered up, a little bit congested. For some reason there was beauty stuff in there, so I wanted to get that done as well. And the last thing that I'm going to be decluttering over here is actually my seed collection. There's a lot of seeds that I started last year that either didn't do very well or just struggle to handle our British summers. Our British summers are getting a lot hotter and a lot drier. We're having very prolonged periods of drought these days, and I would like to concentrate on seeds that can handle that and that can handle the heat. So I'm getting rid of the kind of flaky, weak ones that need a lot of pampering through a drought, through a very hot period of the summer, and I'm going to be replacing those with things like geraniums that are a lot more tolerant. And then I've got this little box here, which I actually forgot about decluttering. This little box has become kind of a catch-all, really. I got it initially to put the remote controls in, and it's ended up having things like paper clips, hair bands, bits of jewellery, SIM cards, those weird little keys that you get for the SIM card drawers on your phone. All those kind of random bits of bobs have ended up in this. I don't really mind having like the little SIM cards and things like that in here, but I definitely want space again to put the remotes in here. So I'm clearing out the kind of jewellery and the hairbands and stuff like that, the things that have been put in there when they probably shouldn't have been, and that's going to leave me enough room to pop my remote controls back in there. So that's another little small place that gathers clutter very, very quickly dealt with, clear, and now I've got somewhere to put my remote controls. I also have down here, this is Kerry's clutter corner. I sit on the end of the sofa that you can see here pretty much 100% of the time, and I have this little kind of pull out storage thing that I put all of my notebooks in, and I have this little basket that I put just bits and bobs in. It was initially supposed to be for things like kind of seasonal stuff like gloves, sunglasses, sunscreen, and that's what I would like for it to be again. So I've cleared out everything that's not gloves, sunscreen, sunglasses, and popped it back. And I'm just going through my notebooks now to find which ones I'm actually using, which ones are full of stuff that's no longer relevant, like these two little ones were. This big purple one is kind of like my master folder. I've got all my routines in here, I've got all my recipes in here, my budgets are in here, everything important is in that big purple one, so I use that on the daily. And then I've discovered I prefer a refill pad that I can pull the pages out of once I'm done, and it kind of feels like having a new notebook all the time. And then the last notebook that I've got there, you can see that kind of burgundy purple one. That is going to be for my craft fair stuff. So come the new year, I'm going to be starting to make a lot of stuff for Christmas markets next year. So this time next year, Christmas markets, I'll be making stuff for those, and I would like to kind of cost everything up and price everything up and things, and put all of that into the notebook so that I've got that ready for next year when I start to do the Christmas markets. So I was getting a little bit demotivated, so I popped a movie on, and I've just popped a little heart over it so I don't get a copyright strike. My comfort film is, well, films are The Lord of the Rings, but in particular The Fellowship of the Ring. Every time I'm feeling a little bit low or feeling a little bit unmotivated, or just not quite there, I'll pop The Fellowship of the Ring on. It makes me feel cozy and warm, and I love it so much. But I did pop that heart on there just for the copyright. I really don't want to get a copyright strike. So that is what I'm watching, in case any of you are interested, while I just go through, and I'm now starting the actual clean of the lounge. So I'm starting off by taking every single thing off the bookshelves. I want to have a little bit of a rearrange. I do tend to get bored of how things are laid out on the bookshelves, and I like that I can just take everything off, give the shelves a nice clean, and then put everything back in a different order, and it kind of settles my hatred of how things are looking. I do get to a point, honestly, it's usually about a month or two, where I start to hate everything around me. And bookshelves are such a wonderful thing to rearrange, and it feels like you've kind of redecorated the room. It feels like it's all fresh and new and lovely. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm just going over the actual bookshelves. I'm just dusting them with a little bit of that cranberry and orange Zoflora. I've gone over it with the damp duster first with just some water, and then I'm going over it with the Zoflora on a microfiber, and then I'm just going to rearrange it into a more kind of palatable, pleasant aesthetic for me, just to prevent me from getting bored of it. I know that obviously really, for me, only a few weeks' time now, this is all going to be changing again, because I'm going to be getting my Christmas decorations out. I am a early Christmas decorator. I love my Christmas decor. I really, really love my Christmas decor, and I would have it out now if I had... Well, I do have the choice. I could put it out now if I really wanted to, but I feel like I would be judged quite heavily for that. But my Christmas decor does go up kind of mid-November. It's around kind of around Thanksgiving in America, maybe a little bit later. I will pop my Christmas decorations up. So all of these pumpkins, my little squirrels, my owls, all of that will be going away. Oh, I forgot to put a heart on this bit. I'll go back and do it at the end when I finish this. You guys will be seeing a heart, but currently I am seeing Gandalf, which I'm not mad about, but again, I don't want the copyright strike. But yeah, all of this will be going away very, very soon, and my Christmas decor will be coming out, and I am ready for it. I think we've got something in the region of 9 weeks left until Christmas Day, which always seems so ridiculous when you think about it's October, and I'm already thinking, oh my gosh, it's 9 weeks till Christmas. I haven't got anything ready. I think I've got 2, possibly 3 gifts for Christmas, and that's it. I haven't started my Christmas food shop, which I've usually done by now. I haven't pulled the decorations out and gone through them, which I've usually done by now. I haven't actually been out Christmas decor shopping, which is one of my favourite days of the year. I tend to go out and I go to like the Range, I go to B&M, I go to Home Bargains, I go to garden centres, and I just do this lovely fresh Christmas shop. And then I'll come home and eliminate some of the older things that I'm not so fond of and replace them with the new things that I have purchased, and I've not done it yet. I think I've just been so busy at work and so preoccupied with kind of settling into the new job, which I'm still absolutely loving. It's such a beacon of light in my life at the moment, honestly. From going from such an awful job to such a good job, I kind of feel like I'm cheating. It's like imposter syndrome. I don't really know how to describe it, but I'm kind of waiting for the bubble to burst, and I don't think it's going to. So I'm really just enjoying work at the moment. The only thing that I'm not enjoying is the buses. They are unreliable and rubbish, but that's the only problem with this job, is that I have to take a bus to get to it. Aside from that, it's going amazingly well. Thank you everyone who has been messaging me to ask how things are going. That's really nice of you. It's going amazingly well, but it has been my focus since I started there. When was it? My goodness, mid-September, something like that. And I feel like this whole month has just flown by in like a blink of an eye, and it scared me a little bit because it's not that long until Christmas, and is that just going to go by in the blink of an eye as well? So I've really got to start getting myself sorted out for Christmas. I've got to start doing a bit of shopping, a bit of planning. My youngest daughter is going away for a week with her dad over the half term, and that gives me the opportunity to sneak out and get all of her Christmas presents. So I'll be doing that. I'm not going to be doing a kind of haul of that, obviously, because she does watch my videos, and I don't want her to have kind of spoilers for her Christmas presents. But while I'm out getting her Christmas presents, I might get a few Christmas bits, and I will definitely do a haul of that if any of you guys are interested. I do have already quite a few new Christmas bits that I cannot wait to show you. I was actually going to wait until the video before my Christmas decorations go up to do like a big kind of Christmas haul. But if you guys are wanting to see a little Christmas shop with me or anything like that, please let me know, and I will make sure to attempt to film that. I'm not the best at filming when I go out and about. I tend to just forget. I get so swept up in the actually shopping and looking at things and thinking about what I need to buy and stuff like that I forget that I've actually got to pull my camera out and film. But I'll try my best for you. I tend to have to go back. I have this habit of going and looking at things and buying nothing, and then thinking about it for a week and going and buying the bits that I love, which I guess is not a bad habit. But when you don't have a lot of time, it's probably better just to buy the things while you're there and then return things that you have kind of impulse bought, if that makes sense. But anyway, back to the clean. I'm just working on the fireplace at the moment. Like I say, it's going to be all changed very, very soon. I'm thinking about popping some hooks on the side of it so I can put a nice garland on here at Christmas. Probably some command strips perhaps, like the little hooks on the side would be good for that. So yeah, I want it all cleaned down, ready to go, so I can get those hooks put on in plenty of time. I find if you're putting or working with command strips, I find it's a lot better if you can put them on a couple of weeks before you're actually planning on hanging anything on them, because it says on the packet, stick it on and then leave it for an hour or so and then hang stuff off it. And then I find they always fall down when I do that. But if you put them up a couple of weeks earlier and they've really had time to adhere and settle in, and they've dealt with the fluctuations in temperature and stuff like that, they do a better job. So I might just go out and get some command strips, the little hooks, and pop some of them up on my fire while it's clean, and then I can be ready to go for my decorations. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. That's actually going to be a handy thing. And I'll pop some around my window as well for the fairy lights that I put in the window, because they're always falling down. They're always falling down. It's an absolute nightmare. I get to about, let me see, maybe a week or 2 weeks into December, and my fairy lights are all over the place in the window. I've had to stick them up so many times, it's just untrue. But yeah, I'm going to get that done during that half-term week, I think. I'll have to put that down in my notebook, which I've now got clear, and remember to get them command hooks while I'm at B&M next. So back to the clean properly now. I'm just taking off some marks on the wall. I know that you guys can't really see very well, but there are kind of, you get scuff marks on the wall where people kind of kick their shoes off. I don't know who kicked their shoes off over here. None of us go into this corner to take our shoes off, but we've got scuff marks on the wall from what I would assume to be shoes. So I'm just trying to take those off, but I think I'm going to have to come through and repaint this in the new year. When you get close to these walls, you realise how many marks and scuffs and dents and dinks and things are actually on them. It definitely needs a repaint. I'm probably going to keep it the same colour. I really do like this colour combination. This is the Dulux Natural Hessian, which is the cream colour, and then my green is, oh my goodness, what's it? It's the Dulux Overtly Olive. It's actually an olive green, but it looks sage green when it's actually up. I was trying to find the right sage green and I couldn't find it, and then I actually thought, I'm going to chance the olive, and it looks sage rather than olive. So yeah, if you're wondering about the colours, Natural Hessian is the cream colour. I use it pretty much everywhere in my house, and the green, again, that I use pretty much everywhere is Overtly Olive, both by Dulux. And I tend to buy the trade ones rather than the standard ones if I can. I find they just go on a little bit better, they're a little bit better quality, and obviously you get bigger tins as well. So I'm having, it's not so much a declutter, but I need to pull this unit out because a spider has moved in back here. And I keep clearing the webs away, but I knew that I was going to have to pull this unit out and actually clean behind it to kind of get rid of Mr. Spider. Now, Mr. Spider did scarper off. I'm sure he'll be back in this corner again by the time this video goes out, really. But I did get rid of all the cobwebs and stuff that were kind of floating out every time I had my heating on. It kind of changes the way the air moves in the room, doesn't it? And every time I had the heating on, there would be like these cobwebs kind of just dancing out the side of this unit. So I'm glad I've got to those. Like I say, it's probably going to be back, and it's probably going to make more. It's just a little cellar spider. I'm not too fussy about cellar spiders. I'm not a spider person as a rule. I don't like them. I'd rather I didn't have any spiders in my house. That would be amazing. But I can kind of tolerate cellar spiders. I think they, from what I understand, they have a particularly potent venom, and they're pretty good at keeping other spiders out. Now, there's other spiders in this world that I hate a lot more than cellar spiders that I don't really want in my house. We have a particular issue in the southeast where I am with false widows, which are, you know, unlikely to bite, but they are known to bite, and apparently it's a little bit painful. It's a bit like a bee sting, and I don't fancy that. So if I can have a few cellar spiders dotted around the place, and they're going to keep those false widows out of here, then, you know, I'm going to go with that. So yeah, I'll not disturb him, but I'll have to go round routinely and get rid of his little cobwebs that he leaves behind. So I've moved on now to the sofas. Now, my sofas are very old. They are leather, real leather. They're not fake leather, and they're looking very drab. So I'm going in very, very heavy-handed. They're already peeling these sofas. They've already seen better days. Please do not use a Dishmatic on a new leather sofa. You are going to damage it. I am past the point of caring with these sofas. I am getting ready to replace them, and they are really, really mucky. I tried to get a close up so you can see just how much muck was on these sofas. It was very, very apparent in the real time. I don't think you can really see it there, but they were really, really mucky. The water that I was using ended up very, very dark grey. It wasn't pretty. It was kind of like when you wash the carpets and you get that really grey, dirty water. It was very much like that. So I was using the Dishmatic, and in the water I had some laundry detergent, just some Bold, and it actually got these up so clean. But please, please, please do not copy me if you have nice new leather sofas that you want to look after. This is going to damage them. I think if you have fake leather as well, it's going to damage those too. It's very abrasive, it's very rough, it's very over the top, but I really just wanted these to look clean again, and like I say, I'm getting ready to replace these hopefully over the next few months anyway, if I can afford to do so. So they're going to be going anyway, and it's been really nice to actually look at them and see clean sofas rather than seeing all the kind of grey gunk that's caught in all of the little wrinkles in it. I'm assuming when these sofas were brand new, the leather was probably a lot tighter on them than it is now. I got these from a friend, second hand from a friend, a good few years ago now, and she had had them for, I think she said 12 or 14 years before me. Yeah, you can see the difference there. Can you see? They were so mucky. So they've had a really good innings, and I have thought about maybe just getting them recovered, because I do like the shape of them. However, they are not conducive to a nap, and I love a nap on the sofa. I love to come home from a little shopping trip or a long day at work and just leg out on the sofa and have a little nap. And these sofas, the arms are too high, to comfortably do that. And if I can't stretch out fully, I have issues with restless legs, and that I can't sleep if my legs are going. So I really want sofas that I can lay out flat on, that have lower arms, but are in this kind of shape. I like the shape, I like the style, I like the colour, but I would prefer to have ones with slightly lower arms so I can take a nap on them. And I would really like for them to be a sofa bed, like a pull out, at least a double sofa bed. So I've been looking at a few different sofas. I've been looking mainly at corner groups that pull out into lovely big, they're almost king size sofa beds, and I've been looking at 3-piecers as well. I think I prefer the idea of a corner with a lovely big armchair. I think that feels a little bit more me, but I'm open to another 3-piece suite if I find like the perfect sofa and it's a 3-piece. So I'm looking forward to getting that in the new year. As for these ones, I mean, I was thinking about trying to rehome them because there is still life in them, but I don't think I'd be helping anybody. Like I say, they're already starting to peel on the seams, the leather's starting to flake, and I think once they start flaking, they go downhill very, very quickly. And so I don't think I'd really be helping anybody by rehoming these. Obviously I'd be giving them away, I wouldn't be selling them, but I don't think I'd be helping anybody by giving them these. I don't know, I might put them on free cycle as like a stopgap for somebody who maybe they've just moved into a new place and they haven't got the money together for their sofas or anything, and they just need something to sit on temporarily. I'm not sure, I'll have to think about it. Or it might be that the furniture place where I do end up getting my new sofas from might take these away. I don't know if it's like when you order a new washing machine, some companies will take the old one away for you and dispose of it. I wonder if I could do that. I'll have to look into it. It's not something that's happening in the immediate future, but I'm really hoping in the next year I'll be able to replace these anyway. But there's a lot that I want to replace and I'm trying to prioritise. These sofas I think are pretty high priority because they are starting to go, but I also want to change the flooring in here. I want to get rid of the carpet. Now, years ago I had a wood floor in here and it looked beautiful, and it was easy to clean. I say wood floor, it was like laminate, it wasn't like hardwood, it was laminate. It was easy to clean, it looked really nice, but at the time I had 2 young children who were kind of crawling around and walking around barefoot around the house, and it was very cold. So we decided to get carpets, and we've had these carpets down for a few years. They're not doing too well, they're not handling family life as well as I thought they would. They're still fine, they're not threadbare or anything like that, but they do show up the dirt a lot more than I thought they would. They are extremely difficult to clean. They are kind of, my ex-husband fitted them, so they're not really fitted properly. They're kind of fraying and a bit just rough around the edges, and I would like to go back to wood floor. Now the kids are bigger, you know, we've all got slippers, cold feet aren't really an issue anymore, but for the sake of cleaning, I feel like the hard floors, the wood floors are going to be better for cleaning. I can get a lovely big area rug which will keep our toes warm when we're sat on the sofa, and it will still give that kind of homely vibe. But I'll be able to take that out during the summer and give it a good wash in the garden. I can probably get a pressure washer on it or something. Well, maybe not a pressure washer, but I can take the hose to it, you know. We've got in the front garden we've got a wall, so as you go out the front door on the right, it's not a fence, it's a wall, so I could throw a rug over that to dry as well. So I think for cleaning it's going to be a lot better. For aesthetics it's going to be a lot better than a frayed carpet. For longevity, I don't know. Now, I don't think it's going to be a hardwood floor. I don't think that's going to be in my budget. It's going to be probably laminate again. But I learned from my old laminate that I'm going to have it installed professionally. I put the last one down myself and it was fine, but it didn't last. I'm going to have it put down professionally and have it glued down. And I'm going to have it sealed, which is something that I didn't do with my last load of laminate, and I think that would have helped hugely with longevity. To have it kind of sealed would be amazing. I also am looking to go for a dark wood tone, which I never thought I'd do. I've always preferred light wood, but recently I've got a bit of a thing for dark wood. Not like really dark, but dark wood. I think that would look so nice. A dark wood floor with the green, with the cream. I know it might look a little bit, maybe a little bit 90s, but I don't really care because I like that. I think that looks really lovely. So yeah, that's something else that I want to prioritise. I think basically next year I would like to give the lounge and dining room a bit of an overhaul. I'm keeping the panelling because I like the panelling a lot, but obviously it needs repainting, it needs new flooring, it needs a new sofa, so let's just go for it. In for a penny, in for a pound, let's overhaul the lounge and dining room. I also would like to build in under the stairs, which would be amazing, and it would give us so much more storage, and it would stop under the stairs becoming a dumping ground as well. And then I would like to revisit some kind of dining area. I'm not really wanting to get another dining table because it becomes a dumping ground and it uses up space that we could otherwise use for something else. But I'm looking at some kind of something for that area. Maybe I could put my desk there and do my my videos there, I'm not sure, but I would like something, because at the moment where it's empty, things are getting put there. It's like, even me myself, I did this declutter and deep clean today, and you know, I've dumped the old coffee table up there, and the bag of stuff that I've decluttered is up there, and it's so easy just to pop things in that space because it's empty. It needs to have something in it, but maybe not necessarily a table. I'm not sure. I need to figure something out with it, I know that much. Or just find a way to close it off completely and make it into a little room or something. So on the footage, we are actually on day 2 now. This is Sunday, what would it have been, the 19th of October. It's approximately, I don't know, somewhere around 7-8 o'clock in the morning. No, it's probably before then because it's still dark outside. Maybe 7 o'clock in the morning perhaps. I've got up early, I was ready to go, full of beans, and I thought I'm going to get this room finished today. I've got to get it finished today. I was starting to lose motivation again. I made a rookie error yesterday putting Lord of the Rings on. It was lovely for a short while, and by the Mines of Moria I was sat on my bum on the sofa watching it, and I ended up watching all of the Fellowship, all of the Two Towers, and I'm scheduled tonight, while I'm recording this voiceover on the Monday, to watch Return of the King. So I kind of messed up a little bit putting the movie on. I thought that because I had watched this film so many times, I mean we've got to be in the high hundreds, potentially thousands of times I've watched particularly the Fellowship of the Ring. I figured because I've watched it so much and because I know it so well, I wouldn't sit and watch it. I'd be able to just listen to it while I got stuff done, and I'd know where they were, what was going on and all of that. And still I ended up sat watching it. I just can't help myself. I love it so much. It's genuinely my favourite movie series of all time, but in particular my favourite film of all time is The Fellowship of the Ring. It's always going to be The Fellowship of the Ring. I cannot imagine any movie ever being more special to me than that film is. There's something about it, it's just so perfect, and I want so badly to be a hobbit in the Shire. just growing stuff in my garden, making bread, and, you know, drinking far too much ale. Well, not ale, but, you know, drinking too much. That would be my dream. That is my retirement goal. So yeah, like I say, it's day 2, and I'm moving on to the other side of the room now. I'm pulling out the sofas, I'm cleaning the panelling, I'm cleaning the skirting board as much as possible. As you can see, I've got those pipes in the way. Every time I pull the sofas out, I'm reminded that I want to box in the pipes and the skirting board there, because it is a spider haven. It's absolutely covered in cobwebs. I didn't actually see any spiders, but it's absolutely covered in cobwebs and dust and crumbs, and it would be so much easier if I could just box it in. And then I put the sofas back and I forget all about it. So I'm wondering, do you know, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little bit of a list. I'm going to watch this back after I finish this voiceover, and I'm going to make a little list of all the things that I've said I'm going to do, and I'm going to try and knock off a few of those things, particularly that boxing in. I've also said before that I want to build radiator cabinets for the radiators, so that I can have the radiator cabinets painted the same colour as panelling, and so that I can have a cute little shelf. I like the idea of having the cabinets painted in the same green as the panelling, but with like maybe like an oak, or oak effect at least, shelf on top, so I can have cute candles, photos, flowers, whatever it is I feel like putting on my little shelf. I can put on there, and that's going to look so much nicer than a dirty great radiator. I hate radiators. They are the gatherers of dust and spiders and ick, and you can never paint behind them, and it costs a fortune to get someone to come and take them off the wall so you can paint behind them, and so you never do, and it's just miserable. If I'm ever in a position to build my own house, it's going to have underfloor heating. I never want to see another radiator again so long as I live. I hate them. I used to use them to dry laundry. I don't do that anymore because I was told by somebody from the housing association, I can't remember who it was now, I think it might have been a surveyor, that when you dry clothes on them, it basically, where it's kind of evaporating all the water from the clothing, it's making condensation steam in the air, which is then kind of steaming your wall behind the radiator where you've got things flopped over. And I did find that when I had wallpaper behind the radiator and I was drying my clothes like that, it was peeling off. So it's kind of steaming the wallpaper off. It's also adding a lot of humidity into the air, which we don't need any help with here. We have a lot of problems with humidity here. So I don't use them to dry my clothes anymore, not regularly anyway. If I've got like a sweater or something that I need dried quickly, I'll pop that on there, but that's pretty much it. I don't load them up anymore. I just put things in the tumble dryer instead. So aside from heating the room, they're just an eyesore. And this one in particular, the spiders like to live around. I've got, if you can see in the corner there, I've got this big bundle of wires, which is all the excess wires from the old phone line, the internet box, you know. I've got an extension lead back there. I've got all the excess cable for the Ethernet cable that runs to Adam's bedroom. And between that little corner of wires and this radiator is spider heaven. Must be. There's always so many spiders around that corner, to the point where I didn't even pull that unit out to deep clean because there's so many spiders back there, and I don't want to get bitten by one of them, so I just leave them be, and that corner has to be just dusty and mucky really. Apologies, I just had to pause there for a little slurp of tea. I've been waffling now for nearly 40 minutes and it's gone borderline cold. So I had a little break after I cleaned that radiator because I was waiting for everybody to wake up so I could do the noisy things. I wanted to hoover behind the sofas, I want to shampoo the carpets, and I was waiting for everybody to wake up so I could do the noisy thing. And it became evident after sitting for maybe 45 minutes, something like that nobody was getting up anytime soon. Everyone was having a lovely lay-in, which, fine, fair enough, it's a Sunday morning. So I decided to move on and start cleaning the window area. So I'm just going to do the inside of the windows today, because we're at that time of the year where my garden is absolutely full of garden spiders. I want to say they're orb weavers. I don't know. I'm not a spider expert. You know, garden spiders. They're very, very pretty, but they're very, very big. And my garden's absolutely covered in them. And there's a lot of them living around the window. And I don't like disturbing spiders when they're outside. Outside is where spiders should be. It's their own environment. I don't really like disturbing them when they're outside. And my windows outside aren't too bad anyway. It wasn't that long ago I actually cleaned them. So today I'm just going to do the inside of the windows and the window frames and the windowsill, as you can see here. And then when the weather turns a bit colder and all the spiders, I don't know what happens to them. Do they hibernate? I don't know if they hibernate. I think they must do. Anyway, when they vacate the garden, let's say, I can actually get in and give the window a good clean. So by this point I was fed up waiting for people to get up, so I did the noisy thing, and nobody woke up anyway. Apparently they can all sleep through this these days, which is good to know for future reference. I was also being a little bit cautious with the neighbours as well. Obviously it's a Sunday morning when I was doing this. Didn't really want to wake the neighbours up particularly early, so I waited a little bit before I got the hoover out. I don't think the neighbours can hear my hoover. I can't ever hear theirs, so I don't think they can hear it. But I tend to be a little bit more careful on a Sunday morning, because, you know, it is a resting day and a lot of people don't be woken up by the sound of cleaning. So I waited a bit later to do this, but yeah, none of the kids woke up and no one was banging on my door telling me to shut up, so I think I was all good. So I've got that hoovered back there and I can pop the sofa back, and then that bit is going to be all done. I did decide not to bother washing the carpet underneath the sofa, because you could see the difference between the carpet that is exposed and the carpet that's hidden underneath the sofa. It probably could have had a little clean, but it didn't really need it. And like I say, I am planning on changing it out kind of ASAP anyway, so I didn't want to give myself any extra work. I was very conscious of not having much time left. I'd already spent a whole day, well, not a whole day, I was watching Lord of the Rings for most of it, but a fair whack of Saturday, you know, in this room. And I didn't want to spend my entire Sunday here as well, because it's not much of a weekend. I wanted some downtime. I didn't end up getting it. I ended up baking. I went into the kitchen and did some baking instead, so hey. But I didn't want to spend all day on my hands and knees cleaning this carpet. Now you can see how dirty the carpet is, and I wash this carpet regularly. What on earth am I doing now? Hang on, I'm confused. Oh, okay, yes, right. So I hoovered first. I thought I was going to go straight into washing the carpets, but I forgot that I spent a little bit of time doing this little table. So my hoover is quite loud, but my carpet washer is aggressively loud. It is very, very loud, and I thought that was a little bit of a mickey take. It was still pretty early on in the day. It wasn't super early, but it's still pretty early on in the day. So I thought, let's just do this table real quick and then get the carpet shampooer out, so everyone can have an extra 10 minutes in bed before I really do wake everybody up. And the carpet washer did wake everybody up. They weren't grumpy. Everybody knew that I was going to be washing the carpets. I hate waking people up though, but honestly, if you're waiting for a house full of teenagers to wake up, you're waiting a while, you know. I think, like, honestly, if left to their own devices, they wouldn't get up till 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. They might be awake, but they won't be up. So I ended up just going, okay, do you know what, let's wash this carpet. So I started off with my Vax Platinum Smartwash, which is one of my best friends in life at the moment. And I went over the worst part of the carpet, which is this bit by the sofa here, that's really, really dirty all the time, and I just went over it with some nice hot water. My goal was get the kind of loose dust and dirt out first, and then come over it with the carpet shampoo to actually wash the more ground in, older, baked in grime. And it actually worked really, really well. You can see the colour of the water, pretty disgusting. I didn't do a dirty water dump today because I wasn't motivated, and I didn't want to stop and move my camera and do a dirty water dump and then reset up the camera again. So I'm just going to show you the water at the end of each kind of go over the carpet, and that will have to be enough to hold you for now. I'm sorry. I was really, really struggling with motivation this weekend. Sorry for that rustling. I had some sticky tape stuck to my foot. I was struggling with motivation this weekend. I'm not going to pretend I wasn't. I was tired from work. Like I say, work's been amazing, but I have been pretty exhausted by the time I get home each day. And then I had just so much to do this weekend. I had recipes to practice for work, I had meal prep to do, I had my flu jab, so I was feeling a little bit kind of sluggish and a little bit achy. It kind of gives me the aches, the flu jab, but yeah, I mean, look at that. That's just water. That's just me going over it with water. And then I went over it with the, oh my goodness, what's it called? The spot wash. The Vax spot wash. I think it's the Vax one, pretty sure. My brain is abandoning me right now. And I just went to town with it. I scrubbed really hard. I absolutely saturated it with water, and it seems to have made a big difference to that grime. Usually when I go over it just with the smart wash, you can still see that very evident bit where we've been sitting, and we've had our feet on the ground. You can still see it. Doesn't matter how many times you go over it, you can still see it. It's still very obvious. So today I thought I'm going to go over it really heavily with the mini Vax and the big Vax, and I'm just not going to stop until I can't see it anymore. And that's what I did. And the combination of these two, well, it nearly put my back out for starters. If you've got back problems, don't be doing this. It was uncomfortable. But it did work. The trouble is, now the rest of the carpet looks really dirty. So I'm going to have to kind of just take a day at a time and just do a little bit each day. I went over this carpet, I think in total on this day, 4 times I went over the carpet, and it was still coming out this horrible colour. So this, I think, was my second time going over it. I set up the camera this time, thinking, stupidly and rather naively, that I was going to get a pretty clean tank of water because I'd already been over it a couple of times. I was wrong. But you can see here the difference that it's made in that bit by the sofa. If you go back and look at it before and then you look at it now, there is a big difference. I think if for whatever reason I cannot get the new flooring in the next kind of 6 months, well, let's do 9 months. In the next 9 months, if I haven't got the new flooring, I will pay somebody to come out and wash this properly, because I feel like it's so ground in now that I'm never going to be able to get it all. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get it all up with this domestic Hoover washer, shampoo, or whatever you want to call it. I think I'm going to need the professionals in. But yeah, I'm really hoping to have the hard floor and it won't be an issue anyway. But yeah, I went over it 4 times, and there was absolutely no difference in the colour of the water. It wasn't getting any lighter, it wasn't getting any more, what's the word? Oh, I can't remember the word, like kind of see-through, you know, I wasn't able to see any more light through it or anything like that. And I ended up giving up. I won't pretend I didn't. I ended up giving up. For those people who do the videos, shampoo my carpet until the water comes up clear, all power to you, because I am not that person. I was here for hours doing this carpet and it's still no cleaner than it was when I first started, so it wasn't very motivating, unfortunately. Look, see, it's still really grim. So that is going to be it for the clean today. I hope you have enjoyed it. I'm not sure what's going to be next, whether it's going to be the kitchen or the dining room or maybe the bedroom or something like that, but there will be a video next weekend for you to watch, and I hope you really enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.